My name is Sherry, what's yours? By about 6 p.m. we went home and watched the rest of the proceedings on TV. On the Sunday morning, my roommate and I went to have brunch at Queen West from our apartment on Queen East. On our way there, we were stopped at Bay and Queen and my roommate's backpack was searched. He was wearing a t-shirt with Russian writing on it. One of the officers who stopped us asked what it said. My roommate had no idea and he said so. The cop looked at him intently and said, "Are you sure?" We were allowed to go on our way. When we got to the Sheraton Center, 15 to 20 cops came flying out of nowhere. We tried to get out of their way, but it was us they were after. They surrounded my roommate, pushed him up against the wall, threatened that they'd shoot him if he moved, told him to go back to Quebec. When he showed them ID indicating he lived on Queen Street, they said ID could be faked. They threatened to break his arm and did break his iPhone. While all this was going on, I was being placated by one officer. Another officer in full riot gear, except for the helmet, came up. I asked him why this was happening. I mean, we didn't really fit the demographic for Black Bloc or anything, me being over 50 and my roommate being over 60. He said I had been mouthy down at the fence the day before. So my roommate was suffering because I questioned why the police were wearing their name tags by the fence. Remarkably, we were allowed to go. Shaken, we went for brunch. As we were walking back home, we ran into a demonstration going west on Queen. People were chanting, "Peaceful protest, peaceful protest." The police on the sidewalk were herding people into the group. I suppose we could have explained to the cops we were walking home, but the day before we had learned that it was easier just to do whatever the police said. We looked at each other, shrugged, and joined the demonstration. At Queen and Spadina, we were stopped and surrounded by bicycle cops. People I saw who were surrounded included a bunch of teens with a soccer ball, an older couple with their groceries, and a mother with her young daughter who was quite distressed at being caught up. We asked the police at the south end if we could leave. They said to talk to the police at the north end. We talked to the police at the north end, and they said to talk to the police at the south end. That's when we knew we were in trouble. At no time did I hear orders to disperse. Then the riot cops showed up and things got really scary. It was terrifying to be surrounded by faceless, heavily armed police. I kept thinking, how could this be happening in my city? People were being snatched from the crowd for no apparent reason, also terrifying. And then the rain started. It was a cold storm that was very heavy. We tried to make ourselves as inconspicuous as possible, huddling under an umbrella that another Kathleen had. We thought that we would be taken for sure after what had happened earlier in the day. People were so cold and wet, they were giving themselves up for rest to get onto the police buses. I wouldn't do that. I saw some people who seemed to be suffering from hypothermia. Remember, it had been a nice afternoon and no one was dressed properly for the cold, rainy weather. I had to pee, and my roommate said to just do it, that it was raining so hard, no one would notice. And that's true, but I couldn't do it. When they finally let us go, transit was not available, so we hailed a cab. The driver took one look at us, soggy and wet, and drove away. We hailed another cab, and this one took us. The cab driver was from Afghanistan and thanked us for being out there and called us heroes. We had to stop to get cigarettes, and after that I knew I wouldn't have enough money on me to pay for the cab, but I had money in the apartment. When we got there, I said I would run up and get money, but the cab driver wouldn't let me. So I gave him all the money I had, about $5 for a $20 ride. So, how has this affected me? Most obvious, I suppose, is becoming lead plaintiff for the class action lawsuit. I was told when I took it on that it would be a 5 to 10 year process, but nonetheless, it is frustrating how long it takes to wend its way through the courts.
Halfway, Sherry.
Halfway, yay! I'm incredibly lucky to have a fantastic, caring, dedicated, and supportive legal team, and I'd say that even if Murray wasn't here. And a great co-plaintiff in Tommy. I decided to be lead plaintiff because I was angry and felt someone needed to take responsibility for what happened to me and hundreds of others that weekend. It is also a way to get information as to why things were done the way they were done. I still don't trust the police. If I'm around too many of them, I start to feel anxious. I went to a demonstration that ended at Dundas Square. The police were around the perimeter. For me, it felt too much like peddling, and I had to stand on the other side of it. I had to sort of leave the demonstration because I couldn't stay in the middle. I think about the G20 every day. Every time I see a cop, I'm reminded of it. I also wonder if it has affected my employment opportunities. After all, if you Google my name, as companies do nowadays, the first thing that comes up is the court case. Many people don't want a troublemaker working for them. And it reawakened my political activism. I hadn't been to a demonstration in 15 years prior to G20 weekend, and now I'm on the streets quite frequently for various causes. Don't let anyone ever tell you that demonstrating doesn't accomplish anything.